All right, we're back here at the Grand Solar Minimum channel. Finally, we're going to get into a little bit of weather news. Not much of a weather maker as we go into our GFS forecast here, but it does state here that a track and strength of fast developing storm near the coast will determine the extent of snow, rain, and damaging winds in the northeastern United States prior to the end of this week. The latest indications are that a storm will quickly form near the coast of Virginia, North Carolina on Thursday, one day after the arrival of spring, ironically, at point in time that historically has seen significant snowstorms and nor'easters. Yes, let's point that out, that it is normal to see nor'easters in March. Not normal to see 5 like we did last year. So with that being said, we are following a potential snowstorm that could form in the farther northern part of the northeast. Now, it looks to me right now that we're going to see rain mainly for Pennsylvania, D.C., Jersey, Philly, New York City, parts of Albany, Syracuse. This is going to be all rain. But as this cold air does filter through into Friday, we see some colder air and snow showers begin to fall. Now, the heaviest snow is going to be up in the northern part near Maine, and a mix of precipitation with rain in the coastal areas. And a lot of that shower activity in Pennsylvania will turn into light snow showers from rain. So, but a foot of listen to this, a foot of snow may fall over the Adirondacks and the Green White Mountains with several inches at lower elevations from later Thursday into Friday. Somewhere from Pennsylvania to Connecticut and eastern New York State, the air will become cold enough to allow snow and or rain in a snow mix. This is Thursday and a late night Friday. Overnight, look at this. We're looking at a foot in most areas in upstate New York. But what are the high temperatures going to be? Well, let's take a look. Also, a wind alert for Friday. Maximum gust up to 60 miles per hour. For the most part, we're looking at 30 to 40 miles. That's nothing too unusual. Saturday, winds get a little bit heavier towards the coastal cities as this storm does pick up a little speed, and even parts of upstate New York and the Adirondacks, the Lake George area, we'll see. Albany, capital region, will definitely see some increasing winds. Gusts up to 60 miles an hour will be possible on Saturday as we go into Sunday before things wind down. And let's go ahead and take a look at, oh, by the way, here are the last 2 solar updates we've done. Monday on top, this morning's on the bottom. Let's go ahead and take a look at tropical tidbits. Here we have our storm system that we were talking about forming here late Thursday. And there's that low right there around Virginia into Philly, combining with another system that's sweeping across the Midwest into the Northeast. And a reminder, this is all rain into the Northeast at this point into Friday night. And even GFS is showing nothing but rain and some heavy snow towards Maine, but nothing too dramatic overnight. Some light snow showers to form across western New York and western Pennsylvania. I believe those are more westerly winds responsible, but this system here does not show any kind of impact in the inner part of the Northeast, mainly southern Maine and parts of the Northeast will see snow in the heavier amounts, but mainly this will be a rain event this weekend for the Northeast. More rain across areas that really don't need it at this time, but it's not that bad. The Ohio Valley, you haven't seen a whole lot. Pennsylvania, these are light showers, maybe an inch of rain. But on the coastal part of this, New Jersey, New York City could see a half inch or more of rain on Friday, March 22nd. And this storm will wind out of here. The worst of it will be far away from land. And then we get another low pressure system trying to get its act together across the United States. Notice how it travels up to the northern plains by Sunday, March 24th. More snow across Montana, North Dakota, and upper parts of Minnesota. Again, these are the areas that we're talking about earlier of having common rolling blackouts from lack of coal. Imagine getting a late spring or early spring storm like this, and the power goes out on top of the storm. And this could just be weak infrastructure why the power goes out, just because of the minor storage that we do have for solar and wind. But looking at the storm system going into early next week, this is mainly rain across the lower 48, snow above the Great Lakes. And then as we get into, look at this, late Tuesday, we look at some heavy snow accumulations across the southeast Ohio, eastern parts or western parts of Pennsylvania, Light snow the rest of the Northeast, but the heaviest is in the mid-Atlantic states and the Southeast, Georgia, Alabama, South Carolina. You guys will see rain showers as well as our forecast continues to get a little bit wetter across the South and the mid. But man, look at this storm, this trough of cold air that comes in at the end of the month. That's pretty strong stuff right there, folks. Those ISO bars are pretty close together, and that indicates a lot of wind as well. As we move through March 28th towards the end of the month, we see a pretty big, nasty, low-pressure system once again cranking up across the United States, and this thing is big, bringing snow across the northern plains, into Nebraska, into Iowa, before finally getting its act together by the end of March. This is a slow-moving storm, and the trough will pick this up and put it up into Canada, leaving mainly a rain event, but more snow in the northwest and the southwest of the United States, and another big low pressure system going into April. Look at this thing. Wow. So the last three storm systems I just showed you increased in size each time, bringing snow to the northern plains. Old man winter is not letting go for some parts of the United States. And that being said, we've also seen indications that we are going to experience a cooler summer across parts of Texas, New Mexico, Kansas, Nebraska, Colorado, South Dakota, North Dakota, Montana, Wyoming. You could be looking at cooler temperatures than average. That's what weather.com is saying right now. And the rest of the country, realistically, is slightly above average temperatures. So in other words, expect an average summer season. We'll see some hot waves. We'll see some hot waves, I'm sure of it. But nothing too extraordinary is expected from weather.com. So it's rare to see a mainstream media outlet admitting that where we're supposed to be warming, we're going to be looking at summer conditions that are just going to be plain right average. Nothing more, nothing less. Take a look at this, guys. El Nino 3-4 region. Can you believe this? I mean, to me, it looks like this El Nino is not happening. When you look at this graph, and I've looked at this several times. TSM Solar Observations has pointed this out several times. The maps and the graphs don't always match. And I wouldn't be surprised if we're cooking it up right here, folks, because the last time I remember these values right here. All right, look at that. And then let's go up to the temperature map. Now, what's odd to me is that when we see these temperatures up here like this, almost non-existent, we usually see temperatures right around here or lower in the past. So something's not adding up here. That overall map is showing us that top half of the region is cooling. And right now, this 25, 25, 24, 24, these all should be 28s at the least. We're 3 to 4 degrees Celsius off in this region. And yet we're supposed to believe that El Nino is entering its stronger part of the phase right now. I don't know. We'll continue to watch this, guys. I haven't been convinced all year. I accepted the answer because I did see the temperatures over here. I'm sorry about that. Let's try this again. When these temperatures what the hey? When we saw these temperatures peaking up here and staying around here, we thought, okay, as long as it does this, and right now we still have a few months to watch this, as long as it's doing this fluctuation right here, that adds up to what an El Nino would normally, a weak one as well, would do in its second phase of its criteria. But just going to be curious to see how much drop we continue to see. Will it jump back up into here? Will it stay level right here for the next several weeks? We'll continue to monitor, but like we've been saying all year long, and people around us who agree as well, the worst case scenario, this is a Modaki El Nino, guys. This isn't even a moderate El Nino. I still say it's going to be weak, and right now, from the looks of it, it's continuing to weaken. The temperatures are much cooler in regions that, I'll have to do some research into what kind of volcanic activity we've had this year, has it been enough for that part of the world to kind of tame the temperatures of the oceans down just a little bit? I don't know. A whole another can of worms we can get into at another show, though, as well. And as far as that goes, I really didn't have much more to share with you guys tonight. I did want to see one other thing. There's our snow and ice coverage. We're starting to see that snow line recede. As usual, it is getting close to spring. We're just a few days, 2 days away from it, actually. I thought it was right. Here it is. And, of course, let's see where we finally peaked out this year on the snow. Here we go. We're finally starting to see that snow mass starting to head south just a little bit. But what an exciting year. How far past the average we went this year. And people were telling us that snow is going to be a thing of the past. And look at the total snow mass for the northern hemisphere and the peak of our winter, all the way into almost to mid-April, or mid-March, I should say, before we finally started seeing things kind of die down. And with that being said, Mari, did you want to add anything tonight to our broadcast? Say hello to anybody in our chat tonight? All the lovely faces out there.
Absolutely. We have lots of people watching. So many different interesting conversations in the chat, Jake. There is a lot of people are like, what should I grow? And the Todd asks, what type of food do I need to grow? And we have some excellent people in the chat. Carlton's our fun guy, our GSM fun guy.
He is a fun guy, isn't he?
He is talking about what he's doing. I mean, these guys, extraordinary, like awesome. So many amazing things Carlton's doing. We got to get him on for an interview.
Absolutely.
It's so, like, you just can't put it all in the chat or discuss it in a few minutes. But he has a 16,000 square foot warehouse, and he grows mushrooms, and he's encouraging people to do indoor ecosystems, and he's talking about his hemp grow up that he has going on, and just all the pros and cons, different methods, very interesting stuff. Lady T Survival is telling people to get the heirloom seeds so they can save the seeds for the following year's planting. Just a lot of interesting things. Eric Williams says, why doesn't the conservative voices on TV tell people what's really going on like you guys explain? And that's we're not MSN. We're objective on both sides. We see the wrong on both sides.
Well,
but
it's deeper than that. Mainstream media has more at stake to lose. In other words, it's kind of like when the mob doesn't like they don't like something they see, they go and take care of the problem and take you out. And just like climatologists and meteorologists all over the world who seem to favor global cooling, but they don't come out and admit to it because they know that their reputation right now is against the grain as far as what the rest of the world believes. So I really believe that there will be a time of disclosure. Trump is starting that right now with his panel of experts, of scientists that are going to debate the effects of man-made climate. But that's an excellent question. And I was thinking that the other night watching Patrick Moore on Fox News. Why don't they just come out and tell everybody that this is all a hoax? But I think there's a time and a place for this, and people are still concerned of their reputation, their personal lives, and how they are going to get by if they try to expose this massive hoax that has billions of dollars in grant money riding on it every year. So I think it's a little delicate thing right now. People are walking on eggshells. They don't want to get taken out by the deep state or the mainstream media and ruin their reputations either.
And then I just said in the chat, get your kids involved with gardening. It's such an important skill set to have. Carlton's talking about the oyster mushrooms. I know you're such a mushroom fan.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Love them.
you're fond of fun guys, so, you know, hey, yeah, whatever.
You're
but
fun,
anyway,
fun guy.
Oyster mushrooms were grown in wartime Germany when all the supplies were cut and they were starving all across the country. And if you look, I believe I have pictures of his mushroom stuff. He actually posted a very large mushroom that was the size of like a loaf of bread the other day on Facebook. I got to share that.
They were also in
a minimum page.
They were in a news article too not too long ago where they were getting a lot of credit for growing these rather large mushrooms at rather large quantities. And somebody made a comment, "Oh, I've done that before." And then I think Carlton replied, "Oh, 7.5 feet long." That before. So I mean, they are doing some big things up there. That's for sure.
And then again, in closing, a brilliant comment of the evening from E.T. Man, Bear, Pig is super cereal.
He is so cereal, guys, and nobody wants to take him cereal.
Oh, boy. So, love you guys in the chat. It's always a pleasure. So, thank you for joining us. And just make sure you share this video because people are saying they're not getting notifications and all that. We're doing the best we can to get the word out. And don't be surprised to see this broadcast broken up into 3 sections and uploaded right back up.
Yep, the next time we do a broadcast like this, we won't detail when we're going to do segment switches, but we kind of wanted to make everybody aware of the new format change. We're going to break it down like that, so when you see those little in-between commercials from Grand Solar Minimum, just know that we're preparing for the next segment of the live broadcast. All right, that's going to do it for us tonight, guys. Thank you for tuning in to our Tuesday night show. We'll be back Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until then, look out for our next solar update that will be out sometime early afternoon tomorrow, Wednesday, March 20th. All right, guys, that's going to do it for us tonight. Take care out there, and we'll talk soon.